I knew that this time was coming, but I didn't think it would be this early. Waves finally went subscription only. Keep on watching this video.
Hey, look, if it don't fit, don't force it. It ain't worth it. Everybody know that shit'll leave you hurting, stressing and fighting, beating and crying. Everybody know that one day.
What's up, everybody? Chris Lee back with another United Destiny Entertainment video. Hey, check this out. If you're new to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to get more videos like this in the future. All right, what's up, guys? Chris Lee back with another video. Hey, check this out. I'm a little bit frustrated because it finally happened with Waves. Yes, Waves finally became a subscription-only company with their plugins. Now, Waves has been known for a very long time to basically give us artists, us producers, us music engineers some of the best plugins to mix and master our music. Now, knowing that they finally converted over to being a subscription only, man, I'm a little bit frustrated about it just because simply I did not want to have to go through the process of actually having to pay a subscription every month to go ahead and use my plugins. Now, why is this frustrating? Why would this be frustrating to a lot of people? Why is this going to piss a lot of people off? This is going to piss people off for a few reasons. Number one, first off, if you have been a long-time Wave supporter, you know what it's like to actually buy their plugins. Their plugins are good, but their plugins can be very pricey. And there's only certain times of the year, whether that be Black Friday or, you know, some type of discount codes that they got going on to actually help you get some of your favorite plugins. But then when you go all in, and buy that plugin bundle that you wanted, you know that it wasn't really cheap to go ahead and purchase that in the first place. So then once you did that, you were super happy, but then things started happening with technology forcing you to upgrade, whether that be with PC, mainly Apple products. I used to be really annoyed because every time that you would be forced to get a new operating system or do some type of upgrade with an Apple product, whether that be a Mac Pro or whatever the case may be, they would force you basically to wait for Waves to go ahead and make their plugins more compatible with their system, as well as Apple trying to make their system more compatible with Waves plugins so we could be able to utilize it. And then a lot of us ran into issues to where a lot of the plugins that we were using before we weren't able to use in the newer systems. Now we want to have access to these plugins. Now we're going to have to start paying a monthly subscription to be able to utilize the plugins. Now there are some benefits and we'll talk about that later. But here's the thing about it. What about the people with the perpetual licenses already who already purchased their plugins? Yes, they said we would be able to still utilize our plugins or our perpetual license for the plugins that we already purchased. But what happens when they force us to upgrade again? What happens when Apple decides to come out with a new operating system, or maybe even PC as well, but mainly Apple? What happens if they decide to come out with a new operating system that forces us basically to upgrade again, and the plugins that we bought prior are no longer compatible with the new system, and the only way to utilize the new Apple products or the new operating system and the new Waves plugins, we have to basically buy the new Waves plugin and the new subscription to be able to utilize that with the Apple products. And it's just, these are some of the things that I complained about before, guys, simply because, like I said, you guys need to go ahead and learn how to utilize the basic tools. And what I mean by that is you guys need to go ahead and start utilizing the factory plugins that you have that come within your recording DAW. Now, what we're going to do later is just kind of go to the website and just kind of check out some of the things that I'm talking about. But guys, realistically, this is going to be a pain in the butt because simply some of you guys may not be able to afford the $15 or the $25 a month or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter who you are. You don't want to have to keep paying a subscription base where your plugins are basically renting your plugins because it's like you never own them. I don't want to do that ever. It's almost like financing a vehicle and never owning it. Now, check this out. I'm a little bit annoyed by this because simply I don't want to keep renting something that I'll never own. You are going to be paying for plugins every single month to basically borrow them, but they'll never be yours. I do not like the subscription plans in general across the board. Pro Tools, Antares, all these other companies that's doing it, companies that I've supported basically my whole career, I'm fed up with them. I don't want to support them anymore because of this crap. Now, if you're a professional like myself and a lot of many others out there, somebody who's constantly making money in a process of doing their career or their profession, this may not be a big deal to you. But to me, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care whether you're rich. I don't care whether you're in between or whether you're poor. You shouldn't have to keep paying for something that you pay for to utilize in your profession after you buy it already, okay? If you outright buy it, it's like, what's the point? What am I paying for? If I already paid you for it at one point when Waves was doing, the whole upgrade plan, and it was almost like you had to keep paying a couple $100s a year to basically buy new plugins to use with newer operating systems and things like that. It's just like, why do I have to keep paying you for something that I already paid you for once? So when they came through with that whole crap and that whole scam, in my opinion, now they're getting to the point to where they're doing everything subscription only. And it's like, they want you to continuously keep paying them money. I will never agree with the subscription only thing. Now, if I was in their business and I was the ones making the plugin, I'm going to put it out to the world and I'm going to see which people out there are gullible and dumb enough to basically keep buying into this stuff so I can continue to keep making money. That's them on a business side. On the business side, it makes sense. But from a consumer buyer side, somebody that's on the opposite side trying to support their company, it's not a good deal, guys. I don't recommend that you guys do it simply because if you guys are going to keep having to pay this money over and over and over and over again, you'll never really own it. I also work in the video industry. Adobe Premiere is one of my favorite video editing softwares. It has been for many, many years. I have even gotten to the point to where I've stepped away from using them and basically started using DaVinci Resolve simply because you can pay a one-time fee for DaVinci Resolve, buy the software one time, and just continue to edit. Also an industry standard. It's used in a lot of professional studios. I would like to just simply pay for that one software, one-time fee, and continue to use it long-term and continue to make money and continue my career versus paying for something that's subscription-based and then I have to pay a monthly fee to keep utilizing, and then after I paid all that money and you decide to stop paying, you no longer own it. I think that that's a complete scam. If you pay for something that's like $400 for the entire software, one-time fee, you never have to pay that again, right? But if you pay for something that's subscription based and you start, say they only charge you for about $20 a month or whatever the case may be, you start to see that after you start using that for years and you're paying months and months and months on end and even years on end, that money you probably paid 4 or 5 times of what you would have paid if you just would have bought the software outright. That's my whole point, to where I just don't agree with the concept because I feel like it's a complete scam. They're charging you basically to rent their products, and I think that that's just not cool. I feel like Waves is doing the same thing, and I just don't dig the concept. Now, let's step into some of the positives or the pros about this that you may think is positive or that it may seem like it could be beneficial to you. All right, so check this out. You go to their website and you're going to see Waves Creative Access, okay? Let's just kind of see what some of this stuff is about, okay? Because there may be some type of benefit to this. Now, let me say right out the bat, I'm not sponsored by Waves. I'm not going to do anything to make any type of videos to try to get the bag from them. I'm not going to try to support them just so that they can take care of me financially, any of that crap. I told you guys from day one, I'll keep it real with you. If any of these companies are screwing you guys over or you're buying something that I think is not worth it, then guys, I'm going to tell you the truth, because at the end of the day, I'm going to take care of the little people, okay? I'm not trying to get rich off of screwing you guys over. I don't care about none of that crap. I want you guys to enjoy music. I am somebody who enjoys doing music in general. I am somebody who enjoys their profession, their career. That simply means that I want to do this thing right. I want to continue to be passionate about this. I can't continue to be passionate about this if I keep feeling like I'm getting screwed or done wrong or just, really shitted on by all these companies from doing a subscription base after I've been supporting them since I've started this thing almost 20 years ago in general. Okay, so I just want people to know that there is a way to do things, and if you can't do it professionally, then you don't need to operate or network or collaborate with any company. All right, guys, so check it out. They have something that says Waves Essential, and they have the Waves Ultimate, okay? This one on the right, that's $24.99. It basically says this includes the Waves catalog, okay? Waves plugin catalog. I'm assuming that that's all the plugins included in one, okay? Now, this one is $24.99. You can start your free trial for 7 days, and it says over 220 plugins, all plugin updates included, which I think is a good thing. And it says new plugins added regularly. Now, this may be a good thing. I mean, it sounds good, but again, once Apple mainly not really having a whole lot of issues with PC or having in the past, but once Apple keeps upgrading their systems, every 6 months or every year, what's going to happen? Are they going to, is it still going to be a compatibility issue? Are you going to be paying for this $24.99 a month and still have plug-in compatibility issues? Because if so, you're going to be pissed off again. You're going to be feeling like you're getting scammed. So is Waves going to be able to keep up with Apple? Is Apple and Waves going to come together and do something together to make this basically easier for everybody else? Because there's no point in upgrading your system to a newer system if your plugins aren't going to be compatible. I don't care whether you're paying outright or whether you're paying $24.99 a month. To me, it just doesn't make sense to keep doing this. I wish that these audio plugins get on board with Apple and even the PC users in general with a lot of these operating systems, and then basically just kind of come up with something that works for everybody. That way all the audio interfaces and the recording softwares and the plugins and the operating systems, everything works together so there's no compatibility issues. Again, you don't want to be paying for something that is not going to be working for you all the way through. What the hell are you paying that money for if it's not working? Okay, these are potential issues that you may run into while buying into this whole scheme. Okay, it says it includes Studio Verse, thousands of mix chains with instant AI search. Okay, limited time, 2 months of free splice sounds, allow 8 days for code delivery email. Don't care about none of that crap, and you can cancel at any time. Okay, Wave Essential side is over 110 industry plugins. This one is $14.99 a month. Okay, 7-day trial. Again, 110 industry leading plugins, all plugin updates included, which is another good thing. Select new plugins, okay, which I'm going to talk about that in a second as well. Same thing, thousands of mix chains with instant AI search, 2 months free splice, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Okay, so here's the deal with this, okay? I get a little annoyed when they try to do something for only $10 more, because it's almost like a ladder to get you to buy into something a little bit more. So instead of just doing the entire package for $15.99 a month, they want to do one for $24.99 and then one for $14.99. Now here's the deal. Instead of just putting the good stuff into the $15 package, they want to put it into the $25 package, and they only may put a handful of good things in a $24.99 package to go ahead and force you to upgrade to the better package, thinking that you're going to get something that much better when technically you should have just went with the basic. That's the same concept that Apple utilizes with a lot of their products in general. They want to sell you these base model systems to go ahead and start recording music on, the Mac Minis or whatever the case may be. So let me just go ahead and give you an example of what I mean by that, okay? And again, this is not a video to bash Apple. This is kind of to bash the concept, because not only do Apple do it, Canon do it, as well as Sony do it as well, okay? So let me go ahead and give you an example. If you buy like a Mac Mini, and it comes with, like 8 gigs of RAM and let's say 256 gigabytes SSD hard drive space, that's like the bare minimum that you're going to get out of computers. The majority of PC computers, they come with a lot more than that. You're not going to get anything even minimum like that, okay? They'll charge you it for a decent price. It sounds good, and it's actually a decent deal, right? But then when they want you to upgrade to 16 gigs of memory and maybe like 512 hard drive space, then they end up charging you probably like $500, $600 more, if not more, to go ahead and upgrade to that system, when really, if you were to build that system yourself with your own parts, say like how you would do with a PC computer, it would be a lot cheaper to buy your own parts and build a supercomputer for less than what you're doing to buy that partial upgrade that you're getting in that computer, that Apple computer that you're buying. I feel like it's the same concept with the camera companies that basically will put a particular feature in a base model, and they do it to buy you in, or they do it to reel you in. Okay, they put the bait out there, but then they put a particular feature into the next model to make you buy into that one, which is way more expensive. But then the model that goes up above that, they'll take that first feature that you really wanted, that they gave you in that first camera, and they'll take it out of the even more expensive camera, but they'll try to cover it up, trying to give you something else to mask it and make it seem like they're doing something good for you. And it's just like, dude, like what are you doing? Like every feature that you have in all these prior models should come in the most expensive one, but they don't do that. Sometimes they'll take that feature away and put it in a more expensive model over the one after that, forcing you guys to basically buy into that one for that one feature while it lacks everything else that you were looking for before, if that makes sense. So these concepts with a lot of this subscription based stuff, I get annoyed with, because a lot of the times, I mean, it says you're getting 110 industry leading plugins, and this one say you're getting 220. Guys, first off, you don't really need that many plugins. A lot of you aren't going to use that many plugins anyway. A lot of you guys bought a lot of ways plugins, and you probably only use 5 to 10 plugins out of the entire batch anyways for years. Some of you guys have plugins that you've never even touched. So is it necessary? Probably not. It's probably not. I'm guilty of it for myself. There's so many plugins that I've purchased that I have that I've never even used, because I found my favorites that I like to use, and I use those on a majority of my mixes. Simple as that. All right, guys. So with that being said, me being a business owner myself, I am always going to try to support what a business owner is trying to do in general. But these type of concepts, I never, ever agree with people trying to get people to continuously buy into something. Now, if it's something different, like you're offering some type of teaching classes, or, whatever the case may be, it's perfectly fine to do a subscription-based stuff like that, because there is something that's always going to change as time progresses. Technology changes, and people are going to always need to be educated on something and how it works in modern times, or in that time frame that they're living their lives and running their careers, okay? But when it comes to something that really isn't going to change, like the plugins or the cameras or whatever the case may be. And what I mean by that, I just mean by how it functions in general. The only thing that starts to change is how these operating systems want things to change, or how these companies want their programs to be compatible and things like that, and how they function as that. But even still, that's not much of a change, right? I think a benefit of doing it is you'll actually have access to all the plugins that they have available, plus newer plugins, and you'll basically be able to utilize them while you're in subscription base, which means that you don't have to worry about trying to buy certain plugins individually, because they'll just give you access to all of them. I think that's a good thing, because if you know what I know, or if you know like I know, then if there's a favorite plugin that you wanted out there in the past, you'll have to either pay $70 or $100 and something, or however much money, $29, whatever the case may be, for that one plugin. In my opinion, it was just never worth it like that. I always look for bundles that came with the majority of the plugins that I actually use, or I like to use while mixing and mastering music, okay? In this particular case with the subscription base, it may not be a bad thing, because like I said, you'll have access to all those plugins. Is that enough to justify paying the $24.99 or the $14.99? Honestly, that's up to you. I am not going to tell you which way to go. Me personally, it's just not worth it to me, because I can get by with doing what I do, simply because I am very good at what I do, that I can get by utilizing factory plugins or free plugins or plugins that I already have. The positive outside of all that is now, guys, I'm actually happy that this happened for a lot of you guys, because now all you people who believe that you needed to buy Waves plugins to become a really good mixing engineer, or a really good producer, or whatever, now you guys are going to see that you have to come up with the money to be able to pay for all this stuff, to be able to utilize some of those favorite plugins of yours. Or it's really going to force you guys to go back to the basics. It's really going to force you guys to go back and learn how to utilize the stock and the factory plugins that you have within your DAW. It's going to teach you how to really learn how to utilize your tools, your basic tools, to be able to mix and master music properly. So for me, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to capitalize off this. This is why I told you guys that I didn't want to go ahead and make you guys mix in templates or recording templates or any vocal templates with. This is why I didn't want to do it with any of the Waves plugins in general, because issues like this was going to come about and people were going to feel like they were getting screwed out of their money. This is why I like to do a lot of my vocal templates or preset templates with factory plugins and still make them sound just as good as Waves, if not better. Okay, I recommend that you guys find you some really nice plugins that you can pair with factory plugins to make a lot of your mixes sound good. That's what a lot of you do anyways. You don't have to have 500 plugins, 200 plugins, 300 plugins, when in reality, the majority of you are probably only using 5 plugins anyway. At the end of the day, guys, do whatever is best for you. For me, in my case, I'm not interested in doing any of the subscription stuff. In fact, moving forward, I'm going through my entire business across the board and finding all the companies that I'm doing subscription-based stuff for and canceling it. I don't want to do that. I am going to find a bunch of companies and plugins and things like that that have a one-time buy that's really going to help me just make more money and not push out more money, if that makes sense. Okay, so other than that, guys, I will have more content coming for you guys in the future. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out any of my videos or my content, be sure to check it out. As always, guys, I love you. I truly appreciate you guys for supporting me and supporting my channel. As always, stay tuned for the next video.